Jefferson Robbins for NCW Life. County commissioners. They set the budget, pass laws and policies, and basically help keep your county running. A county commissioner seat doesn't come up for election very often when there's no incumbent, only every 10 years or so. This year, there's a vacancy coming up in Douglas County. Two candidates have advanced out of the primary to seek that seat. They are Randy Agnew and Paula Lamanna, both of Rock Island. I wanted to give you 1 minute to introduce yourself to our viewers as if they didn't know who you are. Some of them may, but many of them may not. So 1 minute, tell us about yourself.
All right. I'm Randy Agnew. I'm a long-term resident of the Wenatchee Valley. I'm a computer programmer. I've had my own business for over 30 years. For the last 9 years, I've been the mayor of Rock Island. And I'm a father of one child, got one grandchild, granddaughter, born on the 4th of July. She's now just a little over 2 years old.
If you're introducing yourself to a voter, what would you tell them in 1 minute?
In 1 minute, hello, my name is Paula Lamanna. I'm running for Douglas County Commissioner seat 2. My experience, I grew up in this community. I've been a real estate agent. I've worked with Fish and Wildlife, the State Department, and the PUD Fish and Wildlife, so I understand water and permitting for fishery sciences and hydrology and all of that. I absolutely love our community, and this is more of a project management position, and I'm well versed in project management also, so I have that under my belt.
What issues do you think are crying out to be addressed in Douglas County if you were elected to commissioner? You have 2 minutes for that response.
Okay. Actually, I think, city and the county have gotten along pretty well for the 9 years I've been mayor. One of the probably most controversial issue we had was a law enforcement contract, which took us about a year and a half to negotiate that out last year, but that turned out well. Other than that, I think the county has done a pretty good job. The current commissioners, economic development has been good. The industrial park up by the airport, I think they've done a pretty good job overall.
Paula, what issues do you think are crying out to be addressed in Douglas County? What do you want to tackle?
Ooh, to narrow it down, first off, we need a lot of communication and working together and transparency. The last week I've seen more car wrecks and traffic issues, which just goes to show that our infrastructure needs work as far as traveling and commuting, and our community is growing faster than I think we had anticipated. So there's a lot of really neat ways to create different planning for infrastructure. And children and veterans are really heavy on my heart for a lot of things, and with the youth programs and kids in foster care, because I was a foster parent, so children are a big deal to me. Youth programs and that kind of stuff, helping our veterans not have to wait 8 months for care. Those two things are pretty heavy on my heart during this. Yeah, there's just a few. And homelessness, the housing situation is always going to be a big deal.
Let me ask you this, Randy. You're running as a Republican, and you've run as a Republican in the past. Your opponent, Paula, is running as an independent candidate. Now, other candidates in Douglas County, a number of them have been Republican, but there's some exceptions. Thad Duvall, who's the county auditor, ran for this current term as an independent after being a Democrat for many years. Does party really matter? Should the county commissioner seat be a partisan position, in your opinion?
Not really. I'm not a fan of party politics. So even though I'm running as Republican, I don't believe being chained to whatever the party stands for. I am an independent thinker. And I think, to me, what's the issue?
Running as an independent, do you think that party matters for a Douglas County Commissioner seat? Should it be an issue?
No, what should be an issue is what is best for the community. And that's what we have to think of. It shouldn't be one side or the other when everybody is human, and we're beautiful people, and we need to help each other. And sometimes, like I said before, ideas come from other people sometimes that are outside of our little sect of government that we work in. And I believe any human can come forth with one of the greatest ideas, and it doesn't have to be party specific, especially for growth and unity in our community.
You've raised about $18,900 total, according to your last public disclosure reports. About 10,000 of that, Randy, came from developer and land-owning concerns, things like Sage Homes, Sullen Construction. These are folks who are involved in the development of land and building of housing. How do you think your constituents be assured that you're working for their individual interests and not merely the interests of those who contribute the most to your campaign?
Good question. I think the reason I have the support I have from the building industry is, as you know, Rock Island has grown a lot during my 9 years, and we have been easy to work with. We don't give developers everything they want. They have to abide by the rules. But unlike a lot of other government agencies around here, we don't make it difficult. It doesn't take 6 months to get an application approved, things like that. And I think that is a result of that is why I have their support. As you know, housing is a big issue. So I view the developers building houses is helping my constituency. The more houses we have, I mean, the cost of houses right now are insane. And so the more housing we have, the more better prices are available.
Paula, you have raised a little bit of money for your campaign, not a huge amount, about $1,200 according to the last report that I saw. Mr. Agnew has raised close to $19,000, and about $10,000 of that came from developer and land-owning concerns like Sage Homes and Sullen Construction. Can you hear out those interests fairly? Like if developers who donated to the other person's campaign come to you with a political issue or a governorship issue or a governance issue, do you feel like you can hear them out fairly, although they donated heavily to the other person?
Oh yeah, I'm good friends with a lot of those people. So yeah, I wasn't actively, I wanted to see how well I could do this just immersing myself in the community and just being with people and talking to people and introducing myself to people.
Well, last year, Randy, the commissioners, and there was a joint meeting of the Chelan and Douglas County commissioners, and all the commissioners on those two panels voiced some pretty strong opposition to a proposal from the YWCA and Thriving Together to develop a mobile safe syringe program. And this is a program that would go to meet people who are dealing with IV drug addiction, offer them clean needles in exchange, take care of the medical waste, but also give them an opportunity to get other forms of counseling and social services. This was opposed pretty strenuously by the commissioners, but most strenuously, I think, by Kyle Steinberg, who's the commissioner that you're campaigning to replace. And he went so far as to say a program that is developed by the YWCA, I don't feel like I can vote to support the YWCA in the future if they are running a program like this. Where do you stand on that kind of safe syringe program outreach?
I went to that meeting, and as you said, it was pretty packed. And most of the people there were opposed to the concept. I don't know, I have mixed feelings about it. Needles are used for what? Meth, heroin, drugs. Do we really want to promote that? And do druggies actually keep their old needles, take them in and exchange them for new ones? You know, I don't know where they get their needles. But I'm not sure that we need to spend a lot of money catering to that.
If there were a program that received county funding that did offer up some kind of service like that, could you see yourself going so far as to vote against their budget, vote against giving them county allocations if they were promoting an SSP?
I would have to consider it when it came up, to be quite honest, exactly what the details were.
Last year, Paula, the commissioners for Douglas County and for Chelan County voiced some pretty strong opposition to a proposal that would have made a mobile safe syringe exchange program, a needle exchange for those people who are working with substance addiction. It would have gotten rid of the medical waste that they create by having to feed this habit, and it would have offered clean exchanges and given them a chance to find other forms of counseling and health care. Where do you stand on something like that? If an agency like the YWCA, which proposed this, comes to Douglas County and says, can you help us with funding for this other program? Do you hold that against them?
I don't really emotionally invest in decisions like that. I really try to go, is it good economically, socially, for our community, financially, and culturally for our community? What is best for the community? If we're already picking up needles at the skate park like we already have to, and the locomotive park, if this is going to help take volunteer time out and help our community, and it may give them a resource for addiction counseling or rehab, do you think that benefits the community to possibly change somebody's life for the better, impact them, get them out of that situation, and maybe they will be the next person to go help somebody else with addiction? You just have to look at weigh the pros and cons, look at the financial, how it will affect everything, I think.
You feel like being the mayor of a town like Rock Island would translate well to governing a county? Do you feel like you could slot those skills in easily as commissioner?
To a large degree, yes. Obviously, there will be things to learn as a county commissioner. There's some things they do slightly different than we do, certainly on a much bigger scale. But as far as what a county does, maintaining roads and building applications, land services, all that stuff, the city does that on a smaller scale. And I think we've been pretty successful in Rock Island. And in fact, as the city of Rock Island, we have a water system. The county doesn't do water. We have a sewer system. The county doesn't do sewer. And unlike the county, we don't have any money to actually be able to do anything. So we have to go work with the state and grants, loans, that sort of thing to get the funding. TIB, Transportation Improvement Board, they fund roads. So being a small city, I have a grand total of 7 employees. So I don't have 50 staff members to say, here, handle this. I had to be personally involved. And so I have a pretty good idea of how those things, I've learned over the last year, 9 years, how those things work, the process, which is annoying.
Now, Paula, this would be your first elected position if you're elected. This is your first time running for any office. Your opponent has served as mayor for a number of terms in Rock Island, where you live. Do you think there'll be too much learning on the job if you were elected, or do you feel like you can adapt quickly?
I usually adapt very quickly. I jumped into owning my own business, brick and mortar, everything, I have a business degree. That's my degree, is business in agricultural sciences. But doing it and learning it are two different things. And I learned on the fly, and I was very successful. And I'm very confident in my ability to learn because I'm not afraid to ask questions. If I don't know something, I won't pretend I have an answer, because I don't. And they always say the path to wealth and intelligence is paved, so you just need to take that path. Ask those questions.
My final question for you, Randy, as a closer, for 1 minute, why should people vote for you for county commissioner?
I think the number one reason they should vote for me is because I do represent the people. I've made that clear to my staff all the time I've been mayor, and as anybody who's seen me on various boards around town, I express my opinion, and my opinion is from the perspective, in my belief, of the citizens. What's best for them. And I will continue to do that as a county commissioner. Also, I have 9 years of experience doing this.
In about 1 minute, can you tell me why people should vote for you for Douglas County Commissioner?
Because I have an eclectic array of abilities, and like I said, project management experience, natural resources and rehabilitation experience. I've worked with the PUD and the dams and done work for permitting for Fish and Wildlife. I've done biological evaluations for docks, helped with to implement docks in houses. I know our community very well, and I love people, and I just want to bring our community a little tighter than it is. I know we have it.